Hello everybody and welcome back to Video Game Therapy. Today, I want to talk about how things aren't meant to be completed, or I guess how recently I've been thinking about the fact that things are not meant to be completed. I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before or something, but I remember I released a VGT. It was one of the last like 3 or 4, and a friend of mine reached out on Discord about it. Pretty much something we had like briefly talked about. Was this like idea that if something was difficult, if doing something was easy, then everybody would do it. And I think that was an idea I brought up in the video, but I've been giving it a lot of thought recently. And just like 5 minutes ago, I was like, well, things aren't meant to be completed in the first place, are they? And now I was editing the language learning log for this weekend, because I'm moving this weekend, so I want to make sure the video is uploaded and all set before I move on Friday. And someone had commented on the first one that Japanese is the hardest language according to, I think it's like according to like the CIA or Peace Corps, some website. It's like it's the hardest one, and this is an objective fact. And someone left a comment about that and was like, it's the hardest language, like it's gonna suck. And then I responded saying pretty much I know. That's the point, more or less. And they've been doing it for like 3 years and are whatever. So for some reason, and I highly doubt that they meant it this way, but I read the comment and my first thought was they're discouraging me. And then I quickly dismissed the thought, mostly because it's like, I don't think they are. Well, after the fact, I was like, okay, they weren't trying to discourage me, just telling me from experience, I suppose. But most of it was like, come into YouTube comments with benefit of the doubt, because they can be, anyway, I gotta slow down a little bit. Not that slow. Hopefully I don't stop the game recording this time. Anyway, Japanese is a very difficult language to learn. I have no illusions of that. But if it was an easy language, everyone would try to learn it. And I don't know. Sometimes I think I could be picking up an easier language or trying a different language, but Japanese it is. About a week ago, I was hanging out with some friends, and one of them, made like a joke about like, oh, do you just do one language for a week and then quit? Which technically I've done. I did Spanish and Italian for a month. I did Russian for maybe 2 or 3 months. I wasn't able to commit to Russian for whatever reasons. And I mentioned I was doing Japanese, and because I'd brought up something about Russian. And I was like, there's nothing bad about that conversation, right? It's just that language learning is very difficult. It requires a lot of commitment. I have not been nearly as committed as I wanted to be these past 2 or so weeks of starting Japanese. But this idea that things are not meant to be completed feels like it sort of changes things. I wanted to do a Stoic VGT today. Maybe I'll find a link to that, but it might have to wait. Anyway, like Stoic philosophy. We're at the idea now. Things are not meant to be completed, or at least the hard things are not. Now, I haven't really thought about this much because it was, 15 minutes ago that this came to mind. But in these past experiences with languages, I can speak French. I would definitely not consider myself to have completed French, or I'm not a master in French. I'm business proficient, not fluent, whatever, business proficient. And French wasn't easy by any means. It just, over like 10 years, I just really slowly found a lot of things that worked and found a lot of things that didn't. I was on a call with someone yesterday. Did I survive the same? Okay. What day is it? I don't even know what that is. It says Wednesday. Is it Tuesday? It's the 16th, whatever. And I just lost my train of thought. Dang it. Yeah, long term or something. Right. So I have this whole, not theory really, but practice of, I redid my schedule a few days ago. I looked at the last 3 weeks. They have not been working for me. And I said, okay, what's working and what's not? Whatever works, it stays. Okay, using a calendar is working. What isn't working? Allowing myself to work at any time throughout the day and take whatever breaks. This time I'm confining myself to an 8-hour workday, seeing how it goes. And so this idea of find what works, drop what doesn't, has been something I've been doing for 2 or so years now. Almost 2 years now, I should say. You know, for scheduling and productivity, my Todoist, Trello, and calendar use has become so fine-grained that it's not gonna, you know, it might not work for anybody else, but it's worked for me because I've adapted so many different methodologies from different people and articles and books and YouTubers. And over time, I have kept what's worked and thrown away what doesn't. So that ties into this idea that nothing should be completed, especially not, well, nothing is meant to be completed, especially on the first try. If you could do things completely perfectly on the first try, there would be no point in doing them. Now that's more of a philosophical take, but you know, the first thing that comes to mind is like Elon's or, you know, NASA spaceships or something. Like if they just got it right the first try, then I don't know. There's no satisfaction in that. I mean, I guess there is. You know, you toil over something, you get something perfect first try, whatever. Maybe I should amend my statement. The hard thing should not be able to be completed on the first attempt. In fact, they can't be. One clear example that comes to mind is video games. And you know, Ori and the Blind Forest could be an example. This game would be a great example. Video games are not meant to be 100% completed. I don't believe. Maybe there are some that are meant to be completed, right? But I'm trying to think of a universal game, and why has Minecraft not come to mind earlier? I don't know. Minecraft is not designed to be a completed game. When it was first released, there were no achievements. There was no end of the game. It was just do whatever you want. And it still is. The game is not designed to be... No games are completionist styled completed, but they are designed so that they can be. When someone completes every aspect of a video game, you know, I can beat Ori and the Blind Forest in 8 or 9 hours. A completionist takes 20 hours to get all the achievements, right? That's unfortunate. Well, the game is not, it's not like to be a real player, you have to, you know, completionist this game. It's just another game mode to play. To totally get all the achievements in a game is not an easy task. If it was easy, let's see how I'm looping back here. If it was easy, everybody would be doing the completionist tasks, but it's not. Ori and the Blind Forest, one of the achievements is to play throughout the entire game without dying once. And if you know anything about that game, or Metroidvanias in general, that is difficult. That is no easy task. I don't really know if Ori is fully a Metroidvania, but it's Metroidvania-esque. So coming back to languages now, because I hope that game example makes this idea clear. Some games are, you know, Minecraft is technically an easy game, and everybody plays it. That wasn't planned. Anyway, if everyone, yeah. Hopefully the game example makes it clear, but the same goes for languages, and I'm gonna extrapolate to a more general view in just a moment. But, you know, if Russian was easy, I probably would have kept up with it and, you know, got it down packed. And if it was easy, so would every single other person in this world. Maybe schools, at least in the US, where I'm from, mainly teach Italian, Spanish, and French because they're the easiest to come from English in theory. You know, they're not the easiest. Anyway, I have a lot to say about languages in general, but oh, I missed all of them. I'm picking up Japanese because it is a genuine challenge. And I think that is something I was missing with Russian. I wanted to learn Russian for a few different reasons, and I think they were very strong reasons. But there was something I was missing. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, if I'm being honest with you. Wow, are you kidding? I'm not quite sure why exactly I stopped, why those reasons stopped being strong enough, but they simply weren't. I made Russian optional, and anything, something else always came up. But Japanese, I am accepting for the challenge, pretty much explicitly. I missed them all again, dude. And the comment I got in the first learning log sort of confirmed that. And I was like, and thinking about this just today, it's like, yeah, you know what? It is a hard language, arguably the hardest language. And I want to learn it because it's such a challenge. And because I have failed so many previous language learning journeys, I wouldn't consider French a failed journey. But, Russian, I stopped. Italian and Spanish, they were short. I think I looked into Italian like a little longer. But those were all, so to speak, failed journeys. And I've learned more about linguistics and my own way of learning since then in those journeys. And it's through those failures, right? Through the inability to complete those hard tasks that I've better prepared myself, I should say. I don't consider myself well prepared. I have better prepared myself to take on the challenge that is Japanese. So the hard things, you try and you complete them, right? You try really hard, and then you fail. And you walk away and you just gotta say what worked and what didn't work about that. So with Russian, what worked? Well, the grammar book was incredibly helpful. Let me get one of those for Japanese. Let me, in Russian, if I was failing because I couldn't read Rosetta Stone. And for Japanese, I'm gonna learn to read and write first. Take away from that past failure. If I was trying Russian again, you would do the same. I would do the same thing. If you go for, when I started running again earlier this year, I went half a mile and I was like, I wanted to throw up. I didn't push myself that hard, but I probably could have. So yeah, you try going for running. It's, like what worked, what didn't work in that little moment there. I clearly failed my goal of going 2 miles. I could not do it. And I said, all right, if running 4 miles was easy, I should say 2 miles quickly was easy, then everyone would be doing it. Ha 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 ha. I'm going to be saying that a lot, by the way. Oh, damn. But you fail, you learn from it. And for something like running or fitness, that's literally what you have to do. You have to, this is extreme, but rip apart your muscles for them to grow back again. That is what ripped means. That is how muscles grow. The muscle fibers stretch and rip. They don't tear, I don't think. And then they grow back stronger. And that's, in general, that's how things gotta be. So now on the more general note, I guess that is kind of the more general note. The difficult things that you're trying to do are not meant to be completed the first try. You should absolutely try and give 80% in attempting to finish and complete something that's difficult the first try. Absolutely. But it's not meant to be. If someone picks up Ori and the Blind Forest for the first time ever and got the first life achievement, no dying achievement, I'd be flabbergasted. I'm sure it took the completionist, I think he made a video on it ages ago, a while to get there. And that's literally his brand. So just when, and I guess this is the main thing for me is if you say you're doing something or say you are going to do something and either someone else says to you or you say to yourself, that's really difficult. I don't know what it is about this phrase that kind of set something off in my head 20 minutes ago. But I just like the idea of, oh yeah, I'm gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna draw painting. Oh, sitting down for 5 hours is really difficult. Are you trying to discourage me? Like, what is the point with that phrase? Is it, perhaps something, yeah, it's really difficult, like, props to you. That's really difficult. You sure you're capable of that? there's two different, you know, that's to me one dimension of the spectrum of that phrase. But I think I'm going to be thinking about that a lot more. Because if, you know, I'm going to run 2 miles today, really out of shape, you know, it's going to be really hard. I know. Fully embrace the difficulty. Things are totally meant to be difficult. In fact, things are not meant to be completed the first time. Someone says they're gonna build a rocket. The Wright brothers, who made the first freaking airplane. There was some New York Times article that was like, man is millions of years away from flying. And like a week later, the Wright brothers were like, all right, bet. And we're like, here's a thing that makes man fly. They didn't get it on their first flight, I imagine, but that's just the takeaway. You know, if someone says something is difficult, embrace that. Embrace that things are supposed to be difficult. And it's, you know, through difficulty, we challenge ourselves, we push ourselves, we grow, we learn. Those difficult things are meant to be tested over and over again. So, yeah. Find something that you're doing that's difficult, that's hard. Tell yourself it's hard and be okay with it. Just simply be okay with it. Nah. Anyway, yeah, that's it for today. The energy was a little high on this one. I just got really excited about this idea, and I was like, screw editing the learning log. I'm going to record video game therapy for this week because I need to do it anyway. So, as always, thanks so much for watching and or listening. If you haven't already, join the Discord. And subscribe, like, whatever. Leave a comment with your thoughts. Love to see more of those if people do have thoughts and get to hear. But yeah, have a good one. And as always, don't forget to stay awesome. See you next week.